I want to congratulate all of the participants today on your nominations. I'd also like to thank Mr. Lowman for our call last week. A combat credible logistics backbone is crucial to deterring our adversaries, and I appreciated our discussion on how to strengthen and mature this capability. I would like to start off with the balance between modernization and maintaining readiness rates of our current assets. Our military remains reliant on 1980s and in some places 1970s technology. A 2020 GAO report reviewed annual readiness rates for 46 different aircraft from 2011 to 2019, and only 3 of these aircraft hit their annual readiness goals for all 9 years, and 24 of them did not meet their goal in any of the years covered. This is types of aircraft, not individual aircraft. Yet we must also remain ready today to mobilize and respond to a global crisis, which we are seeing play out now with our need to transfer thousands of troops to the European theater. While I understand that there's an art to balancing current mission readiness needs with modernization, I am concerned that the department does not have a strong glide slope and transition plan for key mobility and logistical assets in particular. Mr. Lowman, if confirmed, how will you work with the program offices, services, and combatant commands to build strong transition plans that roll out much needed modernized assets without divesting of legacy platforms so quickly that we create a near-term capacity gap that endangers mission accomplishment?
Senator, thank you for that question. So it's really a balance, as you rightly note, between modernization and sustainment, and the need to appropriately allocate the resources to sustain our current capabilities, especially in the inter and intra-theater lift, as you noted, but also to modernize those fleets in a sustainable fashion over time. The second balance, Senator, that you didn't mention, but I think is important to note here, is the balance across the active and reserve components to make sure that the resources the reserve components need to sustain their fleets and that they have the sufficient lift capability built into the COCOM logistics plans, so that the department not only sustains the lift capability that they need, but also modernizes it over time.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought up the reserve forces. I hope that we're not going to be modernizing, for example, active duty Air Force at the expense of the Air National Guard in particular. I do want to move on to another issue, another source of our readiness issues. In that same 2020 GAO report, it was noted that in addition to aging aircraft, a noteworthy factor in our low readiness rates is lack of parts. I am interested in opportunities to collaborate with commercial industry to reduce the wait times and the cost of parts. One approach is to take advantage of used serviceable material from commercial derivative aircraft. Under this program, the FAA provides the Department of Defense certified overhauled parts from 737 and 767 aircraft at a reduced cost. Initial estimates put material savings over the next 7 years at around $1.5 billion. Not insignificant. This program also reduces supply chain lead times. The program already exists within the DoD, but it is not standardized across all programs and services. And I've seen reports where purchasing officers have a program F function on their keyboard, F7, where they just hit a function and it populates a form and they can buy brand new parts, but it is multi-steps to use this program that exists for used parts. Mr. Lowman, if confirmed, what will you do to require or incentivize program offices and services to take advantage of proven programs like used serviceable materials? And are there any barriers to this collaboration that Congress can work to remove to encourage its use?
Senator, so part of addressing supply chain risk and building resilience is identifying alternative sources of supply. And so the USM program, as you accurately note, is used by industry today. And in some components, I'm aware it's used within the Department of Defense. If confirmed, I'll work closely with the services and the ASDF staff to make sure there are no policy barriers to use of the USM. And I would work with the interagency community, in particular the FAA, to make sure that the necessary airworthiness documentation is available to guarantee the life of the part, the repair history, for example, the hours currently consumed by that particular part. So I look forward to taking this on.
Wonderful. I don't think the pacing item here is the lack of documentation on the serviceable life of the parts. I think it is resistance within DoD and program offices and the services to using the program and using these parts, because it's just easier to buy new every time. But I'm happy to work with you on this and look forward to it.
Thank you,
I
Senator.
have 2 additional questions I will submit for the record. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.